Boxing King Media, powered by BYD. It's the man that takes no shit, Mr. Frank Smith. That rhyme?
No, unfortunately not.
I thought
Maybe
I'd try.
come up with something else, and we'll see if it does.
All right, no problem. All the way in Japan, some wild time difference. What is the time there, just for the viewers?
It's coming up to 6 p.m. We're about to go and do the face-off lineup with all 8 of the prize fighters in a location in Osaka. So off there, yeah, good mate. All is well.
Fascinating. Just curious, can you, our viewers, could you tell them something about the Japanese culture or the people? Because it's new to us. We don't mix with Japanese people, do we? Like in the UK very often.
Interesting fact: when you go to a lot of the restaurants here, you're not supposed to wear aftershave because it affects the food.
No way.
Yep.
So
Yep.
does somebody sniff you on the way in?
No, I'm not sure there's like a sniffer on the way in. No, but that's a fact.
Wow.
Amazing place though. If you haven't been to Japan,
Never
definitely
been.
an amazing. Tokyo's great. Osaka is like the culinary capital of Japan. Although I have to be honest, I haven't actually left this hotel for longer than an hour since I've been here. So, but yeah, great place.
Is it safe like people talk about Dubai and Riyadh and them sort of places? Is it that same sort of vibe?
Feel very safe. It's a very respectful country as well. So yeah, I haven't had any issues. Lovely place, and I definitely suggest if you're heading this way of the world, come to Japan.
And then again, no one's going to mess with Frank Smith, so well, we don't know, do we? So this prize fighter tournament, Frank, is it going to be like a regular thing, or is this like a pilot thing?
No, look, obviously, look, Prizefighter was something we did. We started in 2008, the year I began at Matchroom. It wasn't my idea, so I'm not going to take credit for it. But it was always something I believed after we stopped in the UK. We felt we got boxing was in a position that we, moved across to these big mainstream nights at big arenas, which we obviously did. And then for me, it was always something I believed, as I say, that Prizefighter could be a big brand that we could take around the world. It's taken a long time to bring it back, but we're here. Obviously this is slightly different. This is over 3 nights rather than the original format of the quarters, semis, and finals all on one night. This will run until February probably of next year. 10 and 12 round fights, so championship fighters. And as I've said a few times, it really set the winner up for a world title shot coming off the back of this. The middleweight division's wide open. There's a lot of opportunity there for fighters, and I think the winner's going to come through this and have a big opportunity off the back of it,
What the
as well as winning $1 million.
and that's a million, not Japanese. Like I don't know what the currency is there.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's not yen. It's not yen. That's US dollars.
Yeah, because I've researched it because Japanese yen, like if you say a million in Japanese yen, it's like probably about £5. Not
Bit
literally.
more. Bit more.
And then with regards to the concept, why is it 10 rounds? Not like how you guys used to do it, where it was like 3 rounds, 4 rounds, bam, straight in, straight out.
Because the local commission, everywhere you go, obviously there's the local commissions involved with sanctioning the sport, and they didn't want to do the 3-round format. It was something we wanted to do originally, but then we looked at the plan. They've obviously had World Boxing Super Series has been here in the past as well. That was a multi-night format, as you know, and I think we adjusted it to make it work.
And Japanese talent wise, I watch a bit of Japanese boxing. Some of the fighters there are like nuts. They're like, what I've realized is a lot of their fighters are quite durable and strong. If I was just trying to stereotype the style of Japanese fighting, is there anyone in particular you can keep an eye out for that's, you could be the next superstar?
Look, I think Japanese boxing is in a great place, heavily led obviously by Inoue.
Yeah.
Look at what he did in the Tokyo Dome, 55,000 audience in there that night. And there's not many boxers doing what he does. He's a superstar. A lot of people say he should fight internationally or globally. Look at what he does in Japan. Why should he go anywhere else? He delivers huge numbers. He's a superstar here, and becoming a star all around the world as well. But that just shows the appetite for boxing here in Japan. There's some great fighters. On this card, you've got the rematch of Kunimoto and Kani, which was a great fight the first time around 3 or 4 months ago now. You've got Takisako's fighting Mark Dickinson as well. So, some great opportunities on there for the local fighters as well as the international fighters. who are on the card. Kieran Conway's against Eniwa. And then you've got the other quarterfinal is Aaron McKenna against Giovanni Estella as well. So that'll be a great fight. Estella boxed on our show in the US recently, entertaining fighter Aaron McKenna. Many people believe McKenna should be the favourite in the tournament. So excited for it. Looking forward to kicking it off on Monday, and then got the semi-finals probably in October, and then February for the finals.
You're like the figurehead at Matchroom for these international events now. So I'm going to ask you because we actually spoke in Abu Dhabi. What's the latest with Abu Dhabi? Have they've gone just completely silent?
Yeah, look, they've got a lot of events going on across a whole range of different sports. I think, the uplift, obviously, in Saudi boxing has been led by His Excellency in Riyadh season. It's a big focus for Saudi Arabia and boxing. And yeah, I think, it's individual opportunities that may make sense. For me, my big focus is global expansion. Boxing's a global sport. We're the only promoter delivering shows, around the world every year. And that's the focus for me. I'll continue to have discussions. Africa's somewhere we're looking at, and got a number of discussions there as well. So, hopefully we can get a few more bits off the ground this year. But look, it's a lot of work that goes into it. It's a big investment as well. Boxing is an expensive sport. It's a risky sport as well. So it takes a lot of work and effort to get things in a place.
I'm just curious on the business side of things, because Eddie puts you in charge of like a lot of this networking and deal making, and obviously even with the fighters. I'm just curious, when you're off to make a deal, whether it's to sign a fighter or create an event, are you under pressure to deliver, and do you make all the decisions yourself, or do you have to like sometimes go back and discuss certain things? I'm just curious, nosy more like.
Well, look, it's a team. We're a team. It's tough because you look at our business 8 years ago. You would have said got a great business in the UK. Focus on that. Then you launch in the US, and now look at what we've done in the US. Look at the nights we've had. Look at the nights we've had over the last 5-6 weeks in the US. Then you got the Mexico shows. You got Monaco. You got Saudi Arabia, Abu Dhabi, as you said. We've done shows. We've got shows all around the world. So for us, it's all about expansion and growing the business. With that comes an element of risk. It's not always going to go. It's not always going to be easy. Like we're doing our first show in Japan. There's a lot of testing times in this. It's not all fun and games. There's a lot of hard discussions, a lot of things that go on. We obviously had to delay it originally, so it would be easy just to sit back and go, look, we got an amazing business. That's not the people we are. I'm sort of my sole task myself, and spend a lot of time, and a lot of the time you don't get anywhere with conversations, and you spend weeks and months, and you travel around the world to try and get things done. Eddie says I like to go on holiday, but it's part of trying to grow the business and take it to that next level. So yeah, we do it as a team. He's got discussions in certain territories. I'll lead discussions in other territories. He looks at this one and he goes, right, that's Frank's. And for me as well, it's about expanding our business and our footprint so that it isn't reliant on an individual. I.e., Eddie is a massive part of why Matchroom is where it is. But if we want to look at the long term of the business, this is a business that's been around for 40 years. We want it to be around for another 40, 60, 70 years, whatever. It's got to be about the brand. And I think we're in that position now as a brand where we're trusted to deliver events all around the world. And like I say, take the requirement for just an individual, because this show could run without me, for example, and that's what we want to create. I might not be here forever. I could get run over by a bus tomorrow, and someone else has got to go and do it. And that's what I want to try and replicate in international markets, and take the requirement away from being so heavily led by an individual's presence, which has done so much for us. But we're now in a position where people go, all right, Matchroom. We want to deliver boxing in Timbuktu. Let's go to Matchroom. Yeah.
Great. But just do us a favor when you walk outside the hotel, make sure you look left and right, because I don't want you to get run over by a bus, because then people will refer back to this interview. This will go viral. It's reminding me of that builder comment now. He said it on that interview where he was going to get run over by a bus, and just make sure, Frank. Is your driver?
As I'm walking, well, I'm going to be on the interview as hopefully not hit by a car.
All right.
So,
are you on the local 4G?
Can you see me now?
I can hear you, but I can't see you. I can see you now. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Is this the local 4G?
the local 4G is working very well, to be honest with you, mate.
Is it better than
We've got, yeah, much better, much clearer. And look at this. Here we're going to get in our Uber now. Look at our Uber. How do you switch the camera around? You do this.
Oh wow, what on earth is that? Is that a Merc?
It's in a, I don't know. It's
Never.
original though.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Like, you guys normally get driven about in like what do you call them now? Them big bloody what do you call it? I forgot what they're called now. Them big bloody trucks. Big 4x4s. What's going on here?
I don't know, mate. I don't know. You know, we're changing. We're doing something different.
Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah, we're doing something different. You know, I like it. Look at the interior.
What's going on? Is that like personalized covers?
Yeah, it's personalized covered, like curtains, basically.
These satin curtains, and I'm guessing the drivers, are they nuts, or do they drive anything like the people in Saudi?
I mean, they're very good drivers here. I like it.
Nice. See Frank Smith.
Probably going to end up living in Japan, mate.
Have you picked up any Japanese?
If this all goes well out here, I'm probably going to end up moving here, mate.
Have you picked up any Japanese?
Arigato is about it, and konnichiwa.
All right, okay.
Not enough.
A couple of other subjects before I let you go. Carl Froch, you know, the last time I spoke to you, I think you ended it. I think you spoke to Raz actually. The last thing I think you left it as was
we're in a queue. We're in a queue, just trying to get down the ramp.
I think he's jealous of Anthony Joshua. He did a thing the other day with PeterFury, and
if you come out of the hotel,
sure
like
they
down,
talked about ages lost to, which they've talked about quite a few, which Froch has talked about.
come outside.
But in a nutshell, you know, they referred to what Simon Jordan said, PTSD, and basically saying, I mean, if Dubois puts it on him, you know, he could crumble because they feel like, well, not they. Carl Froch said that no one's put it on ages since Andy Ruiz, and Dubois might be that guy. Do you think that is what Dubois will do? And what do you make of them comments about AJ potentially not having anyone that's put it on him since the first Ruiz fight?
Yeah, look, I think I take what Simon Jordan says with a pinch of salt. That's the first I've heard about the Carl Froch conversation there. I think, you know, heavyweight boxing, why people are intrigued in heavyweight boxing is because it's a dangerous game. And, you know, 16, 17, 18 stone men hitting each other, if you get caught flush, you might get hurt. But, you know, you're not talking about Tyson Fury, for example. How many times has Tyson Fury been down in his career? How more hurt was Tyson Fury in his fight against Alexander Usyk than AJ was against Alexander Usyk? You know, Alexander Usyk's been hurt before. That's heavyweight boxing for you. The best fight and the best. You know, if you get caught flush, you know, you could be in trouble. I don't really agree with the stance of he get PTSD. Like he's been in fights. He's been in 2 fights against Alexander Usyk, who then didn't do what he did to Tyson Fury against Anthony Joshua. Does that make sense? So,
yeah.
You know, you can compare them all, but they're heavyweight boxers, and they're all vulnerable and can all get hurt. That's the truth, I feel.
And he also suggested that the winner of the fight should not be the IBF world champion. He made some points about, you know, Usyk just winning the title and it just being like, you know, boom, straight away being given to somebody else.
Yeah, but I think at the same time, that's where boxers, you know, at the same time, when you look at it, boxing, sorry.
It's all right, I can hear
you. Can you hear me all right? Yeah.
Yeah.
When you sorry, Ross, I'm with Ross and he's trying to get someone in the car who's lost.
How many more people can you get in that car?
About 15, I think.
Is it?
We're going to put a couple in the boot as well. I might have to get in the boot. Might be a bit dark for me, but we'll do it. Sorry, we were saying about Anthony Joshua. It shouldn't be for the world title.
Yeah. The winner doesn't deserve to be a world champion.
Yeah, but look, you know, belts. That's the whole point of the IBF taking fights, etc., and people being in mandatory positions. You know, Daniel Dubois was the interim champion following that fight with Filip Hrgović. So in that fight, you know, the fighter then deserves the challenge for the world title. The belts, rightly so, were held up in a sense because we wanted to see an undisputed. I think they all made the right decisions to see an undisputed champion, but ultimately we've got to then give other people opportunities to win the belts. You know, and it's not the first time it's happened. It won't be the last.
Okay, and the last thing, Chris Eubank Jr. Did you always think that he would more than likely end up with Boxer and Sky, or were you still kind of hoping that you might be able to get him over the line for you guys?
Look, I had discussions with the team. I didn't really speak to him much. I saw him once or twice in Vegas over the last few months. I discussed with his team. The focus for them was always, and they've always now been quite open around, they want to make the Conor Benn fight. When we had discussions recently, I proposed a fight and then the Conor Benn fight. When that Conor Benn fight could take place, there was sort of a range of dates we could look at because, as you know, there's outstanding matters that can, hopefully we'll have some news on soon. But we couldn't set a date for that fight. I think they were looking for 2 fights, whatever you call them, warm-up fights, tune-up fights, comeback, however you want to put it. If that fight was to take place at a later date, so I think that's all it really came down to. But they've said they want to make the Conor Benn fight. They've said they're able to make the Conor Benn fight. There's no restrictions on them making the Conor Benn fight with us. So I'm confident we'll see that as and when it can take place. I don't know what partnership agreement means, but I'm sure they'll talk about it in more detail soon.
The key factor in this will probably be Sky Sports being the broadcaster, I'm assuming. So would you guys allow the Conor Benn and Eubank fight end up on Sky? Or would you want it on both networks?
Look, I've been quite open that the fight's got to be on DAZN. Conor Benn has had a number of his fights since we moved on the DAZN platform. DAZN have supported him completely. So that's always been the position. That's always what we've discussed. I think their position and under their deal, I guess, they're able to do a fight away from Sky. Again, I don't know the structure of their deal, but that's always been the position I've outlined to them, was that it would be on DAZN, and they had no issue with that. So, I'm sure unless something changes, I'm sure we'll all be fine, and you'll see it on DAZN at some point next year.
I don't know how you're going to answer this one, but do you give Chris Eubank Jr. a chance against Canelo? Because I think Eddie's words yesterday were that he gets smashed.
I think Chris Eubank Jr. is very, very tough, as we all know. He's comes from a family of a tough family. We've seen what his dad's done in his career. Canelo Alvarez is the sorry.
Tough sister.
Yeah, the tough sister. Yeah, but look, Canelo Alvarez is a special fighter. He's unbelievable. And I think Chris isn't the type of character. If the right offer was there and the right deal was there, he'd take the fight tomorrow. But it's whether he gets whether he got a deal that made sense for him. And I guess that's not happening. So, I think it would be a great fight. But I think Canelo is obviously a special fighter, as he's shown time and time again against all of the fighters that have come up against him. So, I'd obviously be there in my team Eubank kit, in the corner.
Nicely avoided. I thought you would do that, but
thank you. Thank you, mate.
Any last words from Japan?
No, I'm safe at the minute. I'm in the cab. There's no buses around, so hopefully we'll be fine.
Yep. Just make sure, please, if Ross is listening, let him know to keep an eye out, because we don't want anything like that happening.
Yeah. I know. I'm very sorry about Ross. Keep taking phone calls. Very naughty of him. He probably ruined that whole interview. But
no, you couldn't hear him. Your hands free. He's done the job. I love the fact that
I've got the old school earphones, mate.
I was going to say that most people would expect you, as somebody so high up at Matchroom, wearing them big fancy Apple AirPods. They're like 600 quid or something.
I've lost about 14 pairs of AirPods so far, so I've given up. I'm solely wired headphones. They work perfectly. Don't have to worry about low battery on the Bluetooth. Easy, mate. And
the sound on these is always a lot more clearer, believe it or not.
There you go. See?
There you go. Frank Smith, appreciate your time as always. Have a safe trip, and I'm guessing you'll be back in a couple of days?
Yep, I'll be back in the UK Tuesday afternoon. Back to it.
Right. Enjoy the jet lag, because it's a bitch coming back from there. Frank Smith.
Cheers, mate.
Appreciate your time, mate. Thank you very much.